BAFTA award-winning show returns, but what we're promised is the final series.
The final! The grand finale!
Did you ever get Roy on?
Oh, I tried, but you pied me a couple of times, didn't you?
I was busy, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Next time. Oh, this is the last.
This is the last one, yeah.
Maybe he makes a surprise appearance in this series?
No, he doesn't.
Maybe not.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe not.
Yeah, 8 points adrift of leaders Arsenal, and certainly a very different feeling to when they won here in February to go 11 points clear of Arsenal at the top of this time, still in this season. And maybe Arne Slot's got a point that we shouldn't just take this game in isolation when we make our assessment of Liverpool, because at the start of the week they beat Aston Villa and then beat Real Madrid, let's not forget. With that in mind, Roy, how would you assess Liverpool's title defence to this point?
No, I think it is crisis time for Liverpool. As I said, yeah, we know they can be beaten in Man City. We know it's a tough place to come. And Man City, the signs are Man City obviously getting back to their very best. But to lose 7 and 10 and 5 league losses already this season, yeah, it has to be a crisis for a club like Liverpool. I thought his assessment of the game today was spot on. I think it was very fair. Yeah, the decision could have gone against them, but overall, City looked stronger, technically better, and they look really much better physically than Liverpool today. I thought Liverpool like a really weak team today. Still at moments, of course, they've got that quality. They'll still cause teams problems, but defensively, the goals are given away, the decision making. I go back to that word, lack of intensity, lack of energy. They're chopping and changing, bring your subs on, but it just looked really flat. And I know Gary mentioned it, the managers mentioned it, said he was pleased with the second half, but the game was over. The game is over. It's very easy to play when you're 2 or 3-0 down, when the other teams take their foot off the gas. So they've got Forest after the international break, obviously Forest fighting for their lives. Yeah, to me,
game they lost last season at Anfield as
well.
Yeah.
No, I think it is crisis for Liverpool.
Patrick raised the question of integration potentially being a problem for Liverpool right now. Do you get that feeling that he's not quite sure whether to stick or twist right now with some of these new signings?
I think last season they had a lot more consistency and his job was clearly easier. He was inheriting a squad, whereas I think this season they've, of course, made new signings, which some players have hit the ground running. I think Ekitike started extremely well, but the other players haven't quite got there yet.
And are we right to expect more, Daniel, when you think about the number of the value of that investment, over £400 million?
Well, look, it's an unforgiving league. You know, this league, I think the expectation is for players, just because the price tag's there, that they're supposed to come here and hit the ground running and be world-class footballers straight away. It's rare finds in the Premier League that happens, because the demands are high. The intensity of each team you're facing is clearly better than any league around the world. So I think some of the players are surprised at the intensity of the league, and Wirtz is one of them that's actually explained that in interviews. But when we're talking about the manager and talking about the team that he has to select, I think he does need to stick with a team that he truly believes in and gives him 5 games. I think he did try that this week at least. But it's not working out at the moment, and I think that the cohesion and the chemistry that the team had last season has clearly disappeared. It's not there anymore. It's not the same outfit that we're used to seeing. They've got to go back to the drawing board, clearly analyse all of the defeats. And I think even if we take the defeats out of it and we go to the start of the season, those last-minute goals that were consistently happening, and, you know, how long could that continue was the conversation. Well, we're now having a different conversation, which is they've lost 7 in 10. They've been completely miles off it, if we're being honest, in the sense of their standards. Their level is way higher than what they're performing.
About that, were they?
Oh, he's a handful, and he's been consistent recently. And of course, when you have an end product like he's getting now, then you take notice of this kid. I think we all saw him over the last few years. There's always been potential, but he's not been consistent, and that's the key to, if you want to be a top player or a great player. And then if you're throwing the end product in, then yeah, keep an eye on him. He's looked like he's really settled into the club now. Maybe more belief, confidence, and he was almost unplayable today.
We use that word a lot, unplayable, but it does seem appropriate here this afternoon, because Liverpool just couldn't get a handle on him, could they?
I think if you look at his style of play, he's one of the hardest players for defenders to go up against for me. I think he's so direct, can go either way. His power output, I think, over a short space, maybe 1 yard, when he drops his shoulder and goes, you can't. Everyone that he plays against, doesn't matter who it is, he's going to cause problems. You talk about his dribbling, he completes so many dribbles, creates so many chances, and I think right now, in his mind, he has a plan. I think sometimes players who are dribblers, they don't necessarily know sometimes what they're going to do. Whereas I think now he's getting himself into areas where he's like, okay, I'm going to go left here. I'm actually going to go right. He's not just playing off the cuff. So I think he's improved so much as a footballer this season, and he's going to go from strength to strength. The goal today was magnificent, and I think the only thing he needs to add maybe is more goals.
Yeah, and we'll come to his goal very shortly, but he had caused Liverpool problems before the first goal, Micah, which I suppose ironically was a team goal from City. Every player in the outfield had a touch in the build-up to this.
Yeah, but something I noticed within this, you say the way Liverpool are set up here, you see Robertson and Van Dijk change not at the right moment, then allows the cross to come in, and then Haaland in the air. Okay, you could say Konate is a little bit unlucky. But when the ball goes across, you've got your centre-half, left back at centre-half, and they should just stay in positions now. Now you've got Wirtz in one way. He's not going to help you stopping the cross. Normally, Robinson, if he was in a position, he'd be out there quicker.
Could he still go, though? I know he doesn't get there quite in time, but he should still try.
He should still go, but he's not set, Dave. There's a difference between going. When you're in a full-back position there, it's all about your distances. And when you feel like you're not ready to go, because you don't, if he goes, he can go round him. So he waits and maybe expects Wirtz to come and help him. That doesn't happen. So if you look at here, Robertson and Van Dijk, as we've just shown now, City have got overload on the right-hand side with Nunes going really, really high. But now when the ball goes up, it's too late for him to get there because he's got Wirtz in there. A little bit of communication. You probably want your winger then to just help you out, and then you drop off a little bit. But because he switched at the wrong moment...
But that's the fullback crossing the ball, though, so Wirtz should be out.
He should be out 100%.
Well, they done the worst thing. They ended up doing nothing.
Correct.
Even if you go out and he beats you, do something. They've ended up in no man's land and lack that intensity and desire to stop crosses. And that goes back to that real desire. And to me, what I'm really disappointed with Liverpool, and we said a few years ago, 5-6 years ago, when the league, the following season, they lacked that intensity of what champions need, because obviously you're up there to be, you're the target and you're the best team. And Liverpool, to me, with that, we can show them little clips and go, yeah, he's swapping up. Yeah, these things happen in a game of football, but when you do have a decision to make, at least do it with some sort
when
of
you say intensity,
intent.
What do you mean? Just going out, yeah, but then you
talk to stop the cross.
You talk about champions and all that. Is that then just a mindset? Why would he not be going out there?
Maybe it's his third game in a week and he's not played a lot all season.
That's what maybe I was
Yeah, but we can, again, yeah, but it's still early in the game. It's not late in the game, and they were home and they only travelled down the road. Sometimes you make excuse for players travelling across Europe and the intensity of the games. They've had a home game down the road, so you want to be careful making excuses. But we'll have the same with the second goal. And people say, oh, he can be unlucky with the deflection. Just like that intensity. I think if you're not at it as a team and you're just a little bit off it, like they are, at least get the basics right. You have to get the basics right, and that is stopping crosses. Difficult to play against.
We'll come to the second goal, Roy, in just a second. But before then, the moment I suppose that Liverpool have to cling to was the disallowed goal. At 1-1, it might well have turned out to be a different game. And Virgil van Dijk gets a clean header on this. And there is interpretation on the law whether this should or should not have been disallowed because of Andy Robertson's position in front of the goalkeeper in this instance. So the goal is disallowed on field. VAR have a look at it. And they agree that he is deemed to be making an obvious action directly in front of the goalkeeper. That's their interpretation. But what about the argument that potentially he sees that all the way?
I think he does see it all the way.
So should it then be disallowed?
I don't think it should have, based on what we can see with our eyes. But the rule book's the rule book. So if the referee is reading that, or someone's in his ear going, by the way, these are the rules, that angle's not favourable to Liverpool. But I think the other angle is favourable because you can clearly see he's in a fight. His role clearly is to block the goalkeeper. He's in a fight with Doku. This angle here, he's in a fight with Doku. You could argue when he connects with the ball, he can see that. His line of vision isn't impeded by Robertson. It's more impeded by Doku, for me, if we're looking at the line of the
You've got to
ball,
reward also the defensive team. There's a reason they're coming up. They're not leaving people standing on the post to clear their line. They practice this. So he's a yard from the goalkeeper, so he is in his eye line.
Can we just play that last angle one more time? I think the reason why they probably gave it is because he ducked. So if you're a goalkeeper and you're set and you get any movement around you, just look at Robertson. When it comes in here, if you roll it on a little bit more,
And to be clear,
he ducks out the way. So now the keeper's thinking, is he going towards
and
the ball? So
I think it's that movement that they are referring to, rather than the fact that there's any line of vision which is impeding the goalkeeper in that instance. It's the movement in his direction.
It's a movement. I don't like it.
Have a look at the bottom point here, making an obvious action, Roy, which clearly impacts on the ability of an opponent to play.
Yeah, and it affects the goalkeeper, because if he's thinking he might get a touch in it, then that affects his movement, surely.
Of course it does.
And the whole idea of these defenders doing it, they do drills, they come out so they catch people offside. And what they'll say is like, it's interfering with the goalkeeper. Even the fact that he's ducking is that obviously puts the goalkeeper off. And if you look at the goalkeeper's reaction, he's very smart, obviously vastly experienced. He complains straight away. He doesn't wait for the flag. He's saying, listen, this has affected my decision making.
6-point lead above City, and they are 6 clear of Chelsea in 3rd. Sunderland in the top 4. Liverpool stay in 8th on 18 points, level with Manchester United. The Etihad to a big win for Manchester City. Product, isn't it?
Yeah, but Steve, that's part of growing as a player as well, and putting layers on your performance and what you can do. And certainly goals, it's in big games and huge games like that. That's what he's at the club for. But I think watching him, we always knew and we've seen playing wide, a lot of them clips there, 1v1 against Bradley. But actually he's drifting in the pitch as well at times and looking comfortable receiving inside the pitch. And I just think he's growing. He looks like he feels like he really belongs there and he's an important player. And I think that's a big thing for each individual player to think, actually, I'm in the team and I can make a big difference. Don't almost have to prove myself. He's kind of gone through that phase and now he wants to kick on. He's playing with so much confidence, like he is one of the main players, and putting layers, as I said, on his level of performance almost every week. So I wouldn't want to play against him.
And he's still only 23 years of age. Right, all smiles for Manchester City then, but another damaging away defeat for Liverpool in the Premier League. Here's their captain, Virgil van Dijk.
Well, Virgil, there was a sliding doors moment in that game when you had the ball in the net. Obviously, it didn't stand. As you stand here now, do you look back at that or do you reflect more on how Liverpool have played today?
I think in football, obviously, there are key decisions. That obviously happens, and the officials are deciding this, and we have to deal with it on the pitch, both teams. And I think there's no point to discuss this on my point of view. But the reality is that we lost it 3-0, and that's obviously a big blow, definitely.
Before we move on then, have you seen it back? Do you have a view on whether it's a correct or incorrect decision?
It doesn't really matter, I think, what I would say, because if anything I would say would be in the next couple of days in the media, and then the whole international break will be about me saying and commenting on a decision that the referee made. I just rather focus on the fact that we lost here today, 3-0. And but obviously, decisions are key. And today, the penalty and the disallowed goal was important decisions in the game. And, that's it. You guys can again debate if it was should have been stood or should have been a penalty or whatever.
Comment though on the Liverpool performance. How did that sort of match up to what you expect of yourselves? Never mind us.
Yeah, I think obviously first half was difficult. I think the way they were much more comfortable on the ball in terms of creating an extra overload in the back with Bernardo dropping a lot, and it was difficult obviously for our front guys to get the pressure on them. But I still don't think there was a lot of danger. Obviously Doku played a fantastic game, so it was difficult for Connor at times in the 1v1. But obviously, I still think we weren't much in trouble. We could have done better, of course, especially in possession. But and obviously then the decisions and the penalty moment, the momentum shift more to their side, and we had to dig deep. In the second half, obviously, I think we get a little bit more momentum in possession, but our pressing was just not good enough, and the way we did it as a team should have been better. But like I said before the game, it's finding consistency and keep going. And but this obviously losing hurts always, like it should be. It's each and every one of us. But 3-0 especially. And now we go to our countries and stay fit and be ready for a big run after that.
Yeah, Forest at home next for Liverpool. OK, he didn't want to give his view on it, but he said we can debate it, and we will do. He could at 1-0.
Yeah,
he was involved in.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I said my piece at half-time. I thought this was a really poor decision. I think the goalkeeper has got a totally clear view as Virgil van Dijk heads the ball. I don't think he affects the goalkeeper. I think if you remove Andy Robertson from the pitch at this stage, the ball goes in regardless. OK, he has to duck to get out the way of it, but that doesn't. The goalkeeper's got to dive regardless. The goalkeeper is going to dive regardless. He doesn't affect it in any way, shape or form. He is in an offside position, granted, but when you look at the rule, part of the rule is infringed, let's say, but part of it isn't. And I'm surprised that was given, I must admit. I think it was a poor decision. Now, that's not the excuse for Liverpool losing. Manchester City were the best team, but that would have been 1-1. It would have changed the game, no question about it. And I think it's a poor decision.
OK. We can now remind ourselves of the wording that the match centre sent out, much to his frustration, Arne Slot. The referee's call of offside, no goal to Liverpool, was checked and confirmed by VAR, with Robertson in an offside position, deemed to be making an obvious action directly in front of the goalkeeper. And you're shaking your head at the wording of that, Michael, because...
An obvious action, all right, but that's not a rule. There's a rule that says if you make an action towards the ball, that yes, he's avoiding, he's getting out the way. He's not making a move towards the ball. In fact, there was a goal last season scored at the Etihad in the same fixture that was given, pretty similar.
Yeah, Szoboszlai's.
Szoboszlai, yeah, exactly.
Let's have a look at
well,
this.
Here we go. Now, what's different in many ways, like Curtis Jones is right in front of the goal there. He's right in front of the goal. The goalkeeper can still see it, as you can see. Now, he's sort of...
If anything, he's further away from the goalkeeper there, isn't he?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, this goal is given. And, of course, you know, all of these goals are down to interpretation. And we can all argue in different ways. But, you know... As I say, you take Robertson out, that goal goes in. That one there, Szoboszlai, that goes in anyway without him. As long as he's not interfering with the line of sight, I think that should be a goal. And it's exactly the same today with Andy Robertson. He's not interfering at all with that goal. It goes in without him being there. I think it's a really poor decision.
OK, let's go to the Etihad, see if Robbie Fowler agrees with you, because, of course, he's been there all day for us. I mean, what did you think initially, Rob, in the ground, live?
Oh, I thought it was a goal, and I still do. I think I've seen more replays now to make me think that it's... I mean, Liverpool will be getting an apology from the PGMOL. Obviously, the wording on the phrase that the VAR come out with was he's directly in front of the goalkeeper, or direct. He's not in front of the goalkeeper, so he's not... I mean, full value for the 3 points here, and the performance was brilliant, but you talk about sliding door moments in football, and that could have been one for Liverpool.
Yeah, OK, but you're right, they didn't come up with much in the second half. 4 successive away defeats in the Premier League. The last time that happened was 13 and a half years ago. Bigger picture for Liverpool. They're struggling to find this consistency, aren't they?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier on, I think I mean, players are maybe playing in positions where they're not comfortable. You look at Wirtz maybe coming in from the left and trying to get involved in the middle of the game, where it's just really, really crowded, and he's struggling to adapt to the speed of the game, the speed of the Premier League. But for me, I think it's just a case of square pegs and round holes for Liverpool at the minute. I think even the subs, that obviously Arne Slot change, were taking off the forward and putting on maybe a false 9. Ironically, there was a number of balls came into the box where you'd expect one of your forwards to maybe have a few tap-ins, but that was gone once the forward's gone, because they're playing with a false 9, and again the numbers coming in from the outside. I think Liverpool's play was a little bit predictable, and it has done for a number of times this year, whereas whoever plays on the left or whoever plays on the right, obviously being Salah, he cut inside and they're trying to find a pass. And you know, with City, you've got a crowd in there, so there's no room for any passes, there's no room for any players to go through. So therefore, you look at Doku's performance at Manchester City, where he's not afraid to go down the side. I know predominantly he wants to come inside, but he can go on the outside. Whereas Liverpool were lacking that. Was when the ball does go to them, they want to cut inside, and it's hard. I mean, Michael will tell you, it's hard for a striker trying to read, you know, passes into areas of the pitch when it's coming from, you know, from the left-hand side, from a right-footed player. It's hard to sort of make that run. But if you've got like a left-footed player getting to the byline or a right-footed player getting to the byline, you know, it's meat and drink for a forward, and you know 9 times out of 10 where the ball's going to be. You know, that's what Liverpool are lacking at the minute. I think they are very, very predictable.
Thanks for your efforts, Rob. Of Robbie Fowler and indeed Michael Owen on the disallowed goal. Here is the Liverpool manager, Arne Slot.
Give us your view then on that influential moment, as you put it.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to give my view about it. I think it's obvious and clear that the wrong decision has been made, at least in my opinion.
Sorry, Arne, why do you think that?
Because he didn't interfere at all with what the goalkeeper could do. I immediately after the game, someone showed me the goal that what the same referee allowed City against Wolves last season, Wolves against City last season. So it took the linesman 13 seconds to raise his flag to say it's offside. So there was clearly communication. So, but as I said, that could have influenced the game in a positive way for us, because in the first half we were so poor. But yeah, a set piece can make a difference, and now we conceded the 2-0 from a set piece, and then that was maybe a fair reflection of the first half, by the way, us being 2-0 down. But that's maybe not where it's about.
Yeah,
He was pretty honest. Robbie Fowler alluding to the law there. Let's remind you of, just a few key words in the law in terms of Law 11, the offside law. The last sentence there, making an obvious action which clearly impacts on the ability of an opponent to play the ball. And that is what you're contesting, the wording of that.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it? It doesn't impact the ability of the goalkeeper in this situation to play the ball. He doesn't impact it at all. He's not blocking his view. He's not blocking his dive. He's not. There is nothing that he's doing that's impacting it. So I think, you know, you've got a Manchester City fan, you've got a neutral, you've got myself, you've got Robbie Fowler, you've got Arne Slot. Everybody is saying the same thing. It's a bad decision, but don't take anything away from Manchester City. They still deserve the win.
And they got the win in the 1,000th game in his managerial career for Pep Guardiola.
Well, Pep, game 1,000, win 7-2-6. You looked as you walked around the pitch at the end there like a guy trying to savour every last moment. Did you really enjoy today?
A lot. They gave me a good present, the players, staff, a backroom staff, with this performance and against the champions. Still, they are the champions. And you had to do a good performance, and they really defensively, and many good things happen, and the players perform in the highest level, all of them. My second half we dropped a little bit. Liverpool was better, but really pleased for everything.
He should be really pleased. And just to finish off, and they're 4 points behind Arsenal now. And it's a statement win, that really. What does it do to the dressing room to beat a team like Liverpool like that?
Yeah, I just think it keeps the momentum going. I think they'll not be happy that it's going into this national break. They would have liked to continue that form and that momentum building. But yes, Arsenal will be well aware now that City are close to being back to where we all expect them to be, and that's not the team you want chasing you in any way necessary. So yeah, it's teeing up well for an exciting second half to the season.
Sets it up beautifully with that 4-point lead between Arsenal and Manchester City. Julian, Michael, thank you very much indeed for your company. There we go then, that's the Premier League weekend complete. Short break, and then we'll see more Premier League live. Arsenal in.
Let's go to 2-0 then. And Roy was making the point that perhaps there wasn't that intensity about Liverpool's defending, which has allowed Nico González to get a shot away.
When you look at it here, where's the intensity? Remember, this is coming up to half-time, big moments here.
City on top, very much at this point.
Look, and the players aren't getting out, and I don't want to hear anybody saying, defenders will probably say that, they say Van Dijk might be unlucky. He's not unlucky. You've got to get out, squeeze up, put pressure on the ball.
Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's not good to see. Obviously, we're talking about a goal where the shot wasn't even good, if we're being honest, but hit the target. These are the types of things that can happen. Of course, he could have done better, but You get those rewards sometimes when things go your way.
So Liverpool had a better spell at the start of the second half, but then this really ended it as a contest, Micah. Talk us through this from Jeremy Doku.
Well, Daniel mentioned it. He had a plan in his head, the little shimmy, and then the finish is just absolutely devastating. And I think what it means, sometimes you see Doku in these positions, and he gets in really good positions at times, and you don't know what he's going to do with it, but he was clear in what he wanted to do, and then the finish is just...
The finish is brilliant, but
just enjoy that technique for a moment, right?
Listen, I love watching that. Absolutely fantastic. But what you have, when you have a player cutting in like this, Liverpool have to have players coming across. I know you're not going to listen to me. I'm going to say it anyway.
I'm still
it's a brilliant bit of
the,
skill. Oh, beautiful. I'd watch it all day. Sexy football, fantastic. But from Liverpool's point of view, when a player cuts in into the box, you've got to get people getting out to him. You watch players just dangling their legs. That's not what champions do. You put your body on the line. Hey, fantastic finish. And I'd watch it all night. Listen, I love watching goals like that. Amazing, great bit of skill. But from Liverpool's point of view, how badly do they want it?
Yeah, we'll come to that. But that little bit of skill from Doku where he hangs his foot over the ball before bringing it back across.
Like a line dancer, so I don't know what it was. That skill always works for him. He's one of the only ones you see do it. It's that yard that I can talk about, that small bit of power that he has. You cannot match it as a defender because he knows what he wants to do. It's about him making the decision and going for the move. He's unstoppable.
Guys, well played. Ruben, on the manager's 1,000th game as a manager, was that a performance worthy of the very best Pep Guardiola sides?
Yeah, him, everyone. I'm obviously very happy for him. We live for games like this, and I mean, there's no higher level than these kind of levels. So very happy for him, very happy for us, and very happy for everyone because everyone did a great game.
Well, Jeremy, it was your 100th game for City as well, and I know there was that game against Bournemouth where you had the 4 assists. But have you ever played better than you did today?
I don't know. I think in big games it's always more exposed, it's always more beautiful. I'm just happy with the game and the performance today from the team. From the start, we prepared the game well. And yeah, we were directly at it, so I'm very happy.
But does it mean a lot to you personally to kind of dominate, if that's the right word, a game of this level?
Yeah, that's always good. Good for the confidence as well. But I got great players around me that push me. He pushes me every day because he believes in me, and that also gives me also the feeling that I have to do more every game, and every day I want to improve, and having teammates like that makes it easier for me.
So it sounds like you're on his case a bit, Ruben. You want the best from him?
Yeah, from him and from everyone. We need to push all of us. Myself, everyone, he needs to push me, I need to push him, we need to push everyone. I seen obviously the amazing game he did. I seen just now in the end the sprint Erling did to compensate because Savinho was inside, and we live of these things. I remember still before I came to this club, and from watching this club playing on TV, these were the details that make them win so much. These little differences of everyone ready to show up and ready to sacrifice for the guy next to them.
And I wonder today as well if we saw a little bit of a new City taking shape. Probably you've been feeling it for a few weeks or a few months, but generally given a player of the match performance, Nico O'Reilly, Matheus Nunes, we know what, with respect to guys like you, the kind of City legends can do, but are we seeing a new generation kind of stepping up now?
I mean, this is not new. This has been going on for a while now. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about a rebuild since last season, and there were many changes in the team, which is part of the process of any club and any team that wants to keep on winning. And yes, of course, there's maybe new faces to the one because of the ones that left, but the quality stays the same, and we keep on pushing. And I mean, it's still early in the season, feet on the ground, but we're going to keep on pushing. Yeah.
Jeremy Doku today is the first player to score, win 10 duels, complete 7+ dribbles, create 3+ chances, and have 3+ shots on target in a single Premier League game since Eden Hazard against for Chelsea in 2019. I mean, genuinely, that is for me one of the best individual performances. And do you know what? A fair play to him, because he's a player that always used to really annoy me. Was he get the ball, he'd be pacey, skillful, but his end product wouldn't be there. And it's almost like today, all that's gone out the window. You know, he took his goal incredibly well. It was an unbelievable finish. Even that first half, he had so much space at times in the left-hand side. He often played the right ball in field. I mean, how good is that performance?
Oh, it was an unbelievable performance. And I've always liked Doku in terms of I understand what a winger is, and unfortunately, because football is so overexposed and we see everything, people criticise Doku saying you lose possession too much, it doesn't always work. Back in the day, that's exactly what a winger was. It didn't always work for Iron Robin. Iron Robin, it would work twice a game, but you'd see those highlights. With Doku, you see all the frailties as well. Nico O'Reilly, man, you've had a couple of chances in the box. Keep it down. But no, they could have scored more goals. I look at Doku, and he's a player that it will be frustrating sometimes, but that's what I want my winger to do. Try it. Keep on trying it, because eventually it will work. Eventually you'll wear them down. But this has been his best ever performance in a City shirt. He's been unbelievable.
Manchester United are above Liverpool.
Yeah, on goal scored.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, sure. No, fair play, they are. Yeah, no, it's not good. Yeah, I mean, from a Liverpool point of view, I'm disappointed. I'm gutted. We deserve to lose this game. We've been nowhere near good enough. And I get asked this question a lot. Like, what's going wrong? And I'm just almost sort of running out of ideas, guys, as to what to say. It just feels like it's pretty much been the same problem since the start of the season.
I don't think it's all on Arne Slot. I don't.
No, well, look, no,
you think the whole thing is on Arne Slot?
No, the whole thing's not on Arne Slot.
I don't. I think I think
Abby, we can talk about some of his tactics, but these players, and these are good players. And I love these players, by the way, because they won majority of them won the Premier League last season. Yeah. And some of them are most of them are Liverpool legends, what they've done for this football club. But this season, they've been absolutely nowhere near good enough. They've been absolutely nowhere near at it. And some of them today, when they go back in that dressing room, have got to have a long, hard look at themselves. And Slot is the manager, and I do think tactically, he hasn't maybe been 100% sure of what he's wanted to do this season, and maybe too many players have come in. But some of these players are great players, are world-class players, and their performances this season have been a shambles.
I think one of the things that you said there. I think one of the things there about that. It's not easy to add players into a title-winning squad and make them better. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's not like Monopoly where you just go and buy loads of things. Ferguson was an absolute genius at it, wasn't he?
Very true.
Evolving teams. Pep's not done it. Pep's had a nightmare, hasn't he, last season, trying to evolve a team. As players got older, he had to move them on, but he didn't do it in the right way. And look what happened to City. Liverpool are going through the same thing. They probably, all the things that you've said before about Isak, they probably shouldn't have gone through that. They should have, Salah's not his best, but maybe he feels like his nose has been put out of joint because Isak's suddenly been brought in. Who knows? But, no, of course it's not a reason. But if you add all these tiny little percentages up together, it creates confidence breaks, and when you're so good and confidence breaks, it can hit you like a ton of bricks. Like it did City last season.
I get it. We're trying to find reasons, right? I just don't think it's.
You think it's all on Arne Slot?
I just don't think it's
it can't all be on Arne Slot, Quaker. These players are world-class players who won the Premier League last season, and have been. I'm not saying Arne Slot takes none of the blame, but it can't all be on the manager. 100%. I mean, it's not on Arne Slot that Mo Salah can't seem to control the ball anymore, right?
It's on Arne Slot to keep on starting Mo Salah. He doesn't have to start him. I think if this was Pep Guardiola, he wouldn't be starting Mo Salah. He just wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think he wouldn't? But he
no way. Like if you're not performing, why are you playing? There is too much. For example, you took Ekitike out of the team to facilitate an Alexander Isak when it didn't make sense.
That was wrong.
It didn't make sense. And Ekitike was your highest performing player, and now he's struggling to get going. There's been a few moments this season where I've looked at Arne Slot and say, I can tell you're still new to this. You're still a great manager. You won the league in your first season. But there has been moments where I look at it and I'm like, you could have done that a bit different. You could have done that a bit different. And it's never all on one person. Of course, these players can take accountability. But I put the vast majority of it on the manager. I do.
I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Manchester City delivered a stunning 3-0 victory over Liverpool in a game that perfectly showcased Pep Guardiola's tactical genius. From the first whistle, City dictated the rhythm, precise, ruthless, and relentless. Erling Haaland opened the scoring in the 29th minute with a towering header that left Alisson frozen. Then, just before halftime, Nico González doubled the lead with a deflected strike that crushed Liverpool's spirit. But it was Jeremy Doku who stole the show. In the 63rd minute, the Belgian winger cut inside and unleashed a thunderous shot from distance, sealing City's dominance. His pace and flair tormented Liverpool's defense all afternoon. Liverpool fought to respond, even having a Van Dijk header ruled out for offside, but they were outclassed in every department. City's press suffocated them, their passing carved through lines, and every attack felt calculated. For Guardiola, celebrating his 1,000th game as a manager, it was a symbolic win, a statement that City remained the masters of modern football. For Liverpool, it was a humbling reminder of how far the bar has been raised.